I've just made it to the country of Albania, the city of Tirana to be exact. This is just a shorter trip where I'll be spending a few days over here, but it's my very first time visiting the country. I mean, I didn't come here with a big plan, though I really did need a haircut. And honestly, my budget was only enough for a few simple things. I hate to spoil the video, but a little bit of money turned out to get me quite a lot more. So, in this video, we'll be taking a look at what you could do in Tirana on a shorter trip. We'll visit the barber, get the lowdown on a surprisingly informative free walking tour, taste some local food, get lost in the market, and have a few unexpected adventures in between. Now, a few years ago, you might not have heard of Albania, but the chances are, now you probably have. See, just around 30 years ago, this country was under a very brutal fascist regime, and as a result, it was really hard for locals to come and go, and for non-Albanians to come here to get to know the country. But of course, that communist dictatorship fell, Albania started to open up, and in recent times, this country has really started to become a tourist hotspot. So let's head out into the street and see what it's like over here in Tirana. I already know what my first stop's gonna be, but just how much will a haircut cost here? Well, it didn't take long at all to find a barber, and though we were limited with each other's languages, it was a pleasant experience and he got the job done. I mean, I was more than happy with my haircut and the price was good. Good to meet you.
Enjoy your time.
Thanks so much, bye. So, 500 lek, one haircut. It's a pretty good deal. That's about $6 US, 5 euros, somewhere around there. Until recently, this country has kind of been known as one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest countries to visit in all of Europe. That's definitely changing as tourism becomes a bigger thing and just the country continues to develop. But I'm on a limited amount of time, and as you can see, I'm staying a little bit outside of the center. There's just not that much happening right now. When you're on a limited amount of time in a new city in Europe, often a good way to get to know it is first to go on what's called a free walking tour, and I'm gonna do just that. The word free in the name might be slightly deceptive. It's not exactly free. You've got to leave a tip at the end based on how much you enjoyed the tour, but usually in most European cities that equates to something like 5 or 10 euros, so it's almost free. Let's go see what it's like. The walk to the very center of Tirana from where I'm staying is really only a matter of a few blocks, but the surroundings changed quite a bit along the way, and soon enough I'd made it to the starting point of the tour, Skanderbe Square. This is the main plaza in the very center of the city, and it's really big. I don't even know if the camera can do it justice. We'll talk a little bit more about what can be found here once we get to the tour. But first, a coffee while I wait for the tour. Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, good. I was hoping to just drink a quick coffee, actually.
300 like this.
Okay, thanks. What's the biggest bill in Albania?
1,000. No, 1,000. 50.
50.
Plus 50.
Plus 50. 50,000.
100.
For 100,000?
Yes.
Okay, like 100 euros
Yes.
more or less.
Yes,
Okay.
100 euros.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks.
You like Albania?
Huh?
You like Albania?
Of course.
First time?
It's my first time, yeah. Just a few days in Tirana.
Here in Tirana is the most beautiful part.
Yeah? Are you from Tirana?
I live here from 7 years.
Okay, long time. Very Italian style coffee here in Albania. Pretty drinkable. Hey.
For the walking tour?
Yeah, you're Tirana free walking tours?
Yes,
or?
we are. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Usually these free walking tours will start off with everybody taking a few seconds to introduce themselves or at least say where they're from. From the US.
Welcome.
From there, it's usually already pretty clear if the guide that you get stuck with is going to offer you value or not. Luckily, the guide I got was born and raised in Tirana and had a lot of valuable stuff to share. Understandably, he was just slightly shy about cameras, so we came to the agreement that I'd just blur his face for this video.
And the word is Faleminderit.
So with a few Albanian words learned and introductions taken care of, we headed over to the other side of the square for our first stop.
So the reason why it is built like a pyramid or a hill is because during winter, all the rain is collected at the corners of the square. And the stones being different colors is because out of 2.4 million people here, 1.1 million live in Tirana. So to represent everyone, our mayor took a piece of stone from every city, town, small town, and village and placed them here so everyone can feel represented in the capital.
And at the other end of the square, this is a statue of, you guessed it, Skanderbe, the guy who the square is named after. He's seen as a national hero and was alive way back in the Ottoman times during the 1400s. Upon exiting the square, you'll find the Etembe Mosque, and this is where things got a little more serious on the tour. I could tell you what the guide said, but I think it's better to hear it directly from an Albanian.
Enver Hoxha, the dictator of Albania, took over in 1946 officially. So guys, what do communist leaders do when they first take over a country? They get rid of the competition. And the biggest competition to a person with a God complex? God and religion. So Enver Hoxha destroyed religion. 80% of all places of worship were destroyed by the dictator, with the remaining 20%, such as the mosque over there, being used by the military to store weapons and livestock inside. We have all shed blood for religion here. 60% of my people identify as Muslim, 20% as Orthodox, 10% as Catholic, and 10% with smaller religions and atheism. But if you want to ask, is Albania a religious country? Then my answer to that is very simple. No, it's a secular country, meaning our government and country does not have a religion, but what we take the most pride of is the harmony that every religion displays while peacefully coexisting in Albania.
But continuing our walk, we made our way by one of the country's thousands of bunkers. This one happens to have a museum inside, and it's called Bunkart 2. Further on, you get to Tirana Castle, which doesn't really look at all like a castle. But inside, you'll find a selection of more upscale feeling businesses, including a restaurant that had a pretty solid traditional Albanian tasting menu. At 2,280 lek per person, it would be considered a relatively expensive restaurant in Albania. But then again, for the amount of food you get there, you'd probably have trouble finding a better deal in just about any other European country. I mean, they do specialties from all around the country, and everything was fresh and tasty. Except for Albanian cornbread, but that's more a me problem than an Albania problem. When you're born in Atlanta, Georgia, you just think of cornbread as something a little different. But in general, just a normal meal at a not so fancy place in Tirana shouldn't cost you much more than 500 lek. But just around the corner from the quote-unquote castle was something I had not been expecting.
And this church is the Catholic Church. Now many of you might be thinking, it looks like an American one, because it is an American one. It was gifted to us by the United States in 2001, opened in 2004, and it's the first Catholic church to open after communism in Tirana. We call it St. Paul Church.
It smells like candles in here. But there's really just so much in the center of Tirana, and just down the street from the Catholic Church, you have a giant pyramid built by Enver Hoxha, the ex-dictator of Albania, to host a museum to nobody other than himself. These days, Albanians have repurposed it into something actually useful for society, a mix of public spaces and a creative technology center. Right across the street, you'll find a memorial to communist isolation that commemorates the country's political prisoners who suffered under the regime. And not much further is the house of the country's former dictator. Told you there's a lot of different stuff in the city center here. And the cost of the tour? I decided to pay 1,000 lek, which is roughly equivalent to $10 or 10 euros. So, those free walking tours can be a pretty cool experience. That one I did. Definitely was. But those are just kind of the concentrated main sites in the center of the city. And just off a little bit further, there's the old bazaar, now known as the new bazaar because it was renovated. And I've just walked into one of the side streets here, and all of a sudden, these wires make everything look like I'm in like medium-sized town in Japan or something. Looks completely different. But this also happens to be the fastest way for us to get over to the bazaar. And as for the culture and way of being, at least in this part of Albania, in Tirana, it really feels like a complete mix of many different things. The Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire, fascist Italy. You'll definitely find traces of all of those cultures here. But there's also something that's just gotta be distinctly Albanian. And I can't even put my finger on 100% yet. But with any luck, I'm hoping that at this market, I'll get a little bit more of an idea of some of the traditional stuff over here, at least in this part of Albania, but hypothetically, since we're in the capital, the whole country. Markata. This seems to be the meat section. And right next door, the fish section. Everything does look really fresh and nice. But the thing is, I started my stay over here in an apartment where I hypothetically could have cooked, but I didn't end up cooking at all. But now, I'm moving to what in Italian is often called like an agro or agri-turismo. I'm not sure how to say it exactly. Basically, I'm gonna go stay on a farm right outside of the city. So, no cooking for me in Albania. But here, a little bit more to see. Down there, more like preserved stuff. And then over here, a few fresh fruits and vegetables, including mulberries. Didn't know I find those here. Kind of your typical souvenirs that you'll find in any capital. Albania, I love Albania. The Mediterranean eye that protects you from evil. And really just a lot of other stuff. Let's have a little bit more of a look around here. Albanian lighter. It's really a pretty calm market over here. What kind of stuff do they have there? Huh, this is kind of interesting. Reminds me of those Turkish coffee pots, I guess. It's the Ottoman tradition to put the coffee grounds in there and make coffee. Honestly, it seems to be popular all over the Balkans to do that. And quite a fair bit of nice terracotta stuff here, I guess. Glazed pottery and woven stuff over here. I'm not really sure about the quality though. From what I've read, they actually grow a lot of tobacco in Albania. Hi, you grow in Albania? Okay.
Good price here, my
He's offering me to try Albanian tobacco. Oh, smells like earth.
It's natural.
Natural, okay. Where in Albania do you grow the tobacco?
North.
Where are you from?
Canada.
Oh, Canada. Which part?
British Columbia.
Vancouver?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We were there like a year and a half ago, my wife and I. Are you just visiting here or?
Yeah, I'm just backpacking.
What was your name? Sorry, dude.
Ivan.
Pleasure to meet you, David.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Take care, man.
Yeah,
Bye. There's a lot of tobacco in that bazaar, but otherwise, I didn't get to know Albanian culture that much closer. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just incentive for me to get myself back to Albania as soon as possible. So, the only thing left to do here in the center of town is to find the bus station. I've been approached by a dog. I have not seen that many wild dogs in the city here. But here you can see he's tagged. I think I'll just leave him be though. So, we'll need to take bus number 4. It's a lot of bus stops here. Might have been that one, I don't know. And in the distance there you can see it says Betriebsfahrt, because a lot of these buses seem to have come here from a German-speaking country. No, bus.
Who's that? Who's destination? Doris.
No, Tirana. Yeah. Thanks. But as bus after bus passed by, it quickly became clear that the buses in Tirana don't usually have numbers on them. Sometimes the only way to know is to ask. Maybe this one's finally my bus. It's been about 15 minutes now. Let's see. Museu Combatar?
Museu Combatar?
Yeah.
Museu Combatar? No, bus number 4.
There's also a lot of taxi drivers hanging around the bus stops, and they'll try to get your business bus number 4. But when you convince them that you actually intend to take a local bus, they'll try to help you out. Ah, okay.
Stop.
Okay, follow me, Ndrenika. Bye. Okay, bye. Take care. So as it turns out, we had the wrong bus stop. Despite it saying the number of bus that we want to get on in front of the bus stop, number 4 comes over here. I think this might be the bus stop. Museu Combatar? Yeah. Ah, okay. Number 4. I know. But again, no luck. Bus after bus passed by. This one.
Bus number 4 or no?
Museu Combatar bus?
Where?
This bus.
We cannot find this bus.
Not this one. Okay, thank you. Everyone I asked for help tried to help me out, but bus number 4 was nowhere to be found. As it turns out, I've looked it up in a different app, and bus number 4 doesn't seem to actually exist right now. I guess we can go with the taxi, I don't know. But what can I say? I'd been warned. Every single person I know that had already been to Albania told me straight up I had to rent a car here. So I'm already defying wisdom. Locals here in Tirana have said that the bus system is somewhat functional within the city. I think it's just the fact that where I'm going is a little bit outside of the city, and the bus that Google Maps decided should take me there doesn't seem to actually exist currently. Hi. How much will that be? You can see. 6 kilometers. Okay, with the meter? 6 kilometers. Okay. Traffic. Though not nearly as cheap as a local bus, which would usually cost under $1, taxi prices in Tirana aren't too bad either. Maybe it depends a bit which taxi driver you end up with. So slowly we made our way out to the countryside where I'd be staying in Albania for a few more days. But as for Tirana, a totally underrated place in my experience. People are nice, there's tons to do, it's not that expensive, and I guess I'll see you there. Make sure you're subscribed, don't forget to like, and thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you all in the next one.